Hello and welcome to HighLevel Techie. So today I'm going to show you how you can add a customizable due date to a task. So let's get started. So here in this workflow, you can see this workflow gets triggered from a tag added, and then it sends out a document, and then we need to create a task. So if you go here and try to create a task, add a task, and then you can see you can give any title that you want and description you want. And then if you come to this due date, you can only select now 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, or 4 or 5 days. There is no other option to customize the due date. But then you can also use this option where you can click here and select a dynamic value. And when you select the dynamic value, you can see the recommended formats. So the task is expecting you to put the date in this format. And if you're able to do that, you can set any date as your due date. So let's see how you can do that. So there are two steps before you can set the due date. So those are a math operation and then a format date operation. So in the math operation, you can set the date to whatever date you want. So let's go in here. So the math operation starts from a current date and then it adds a 30 days. So if you want to create a due date 30 days from now, this is how you do it. So if you want, let's say 14 days, you change this out to 14, then it would create a due date 14 days from now. So that is how you would do the math operation, and the output or the result of this math operation you have to save inside a custom date field. So I have created a custom field called task due date. So if you go here, you can see I have created a custom field called task due date, which is a date type, and that's what I'm using here. So let me quickly show you how you can add a math operation. So you go here and select a math operation, search for math, and then you find math operation, and then you have to select a field, and we are selecting a date field, and inside the date field you can find current date, and then you can add whatever dates you want. So let's do 15 days, and then you can update the field and find the custom field that you have created, which is task due date. So you select that and you save this, and the output date will be saved into task due date custom field. So that is the first step. And then the next step is that we have to convert this output into the required format. So the result of this math operation actually comes in a human readable format, but that's not what we want. We want to convert that into what the system is requesting you to add. So let's cancel this. We have already created a math operation. So let's go to the format date action. And in here, if you go, you can see I'm trying to format the date and time. And the field that I want to format is the task due date, onto which I am storing the task due date in human readable format. And then it automatically comes with the from format. You don't have to do anything there. And to format, you have to select the right format for this to work. So the format you have to select is here. So if you click on this and you scroll down, you can find it all the way here, mm-dd and year sort of format. So you can choose this and this would work without a problem. So you can save that, and if you want to see how it is done, let's format another date. So select date time formatter, and once you have that, select format date time as your option, and then select the field. And in here, the field we are looking for is task due date. So select that, and from format is already filled out for you. And to format, you scroll down, find this mm-dd, and then that is the format. Click save. You will save that action. So this is how you would create the right date and time and use the right format. Once you have the format, it is pretty straightforward. You can create a task now. You give the title according to your requirement. I'm just going to show you what it would look like. So the task is created now, and the due date would be 30 days of whatever date we set on the math operation. So, and then you give a description, and the main important thing is here in due in. And if you don't see this option, you'll be most probably on the standard version of this due date. So you have to click on these three dots and select dynamic, and then you will see the format that we want, either this or this one. So we can pick either of these from the date formatter. So the one we used is the first one. And anyway, so now you can click on this tag icon and select your output. So the output would be here under date time formatter. So you go here and then select the date time, and you are pretty good to go. You click save and your task will be created based on this date time that we put in as the due date. So now let's go and run this one time. So I have run a test. Now let's go into execution logs and let's refresh this. And you can see a task has been added. So if you go into the view details, you can see there's a success. So which means that our task has been added. So now let's go into the task and see what happens there. So we are in the task window. So if you see the latest task I created, the task is created on 9th Feb and due date is on March 11th. And if you go here, you will see the due date is actually on 11th of March at 12 a.m. So that is the only issue that you would face, because we are using a date and converting the date into a date time. So the default output would be on 12 a.m., but still it is on the exact date. So if this works for you, you can use this method to create a task with customizable due date. So I hope this works for you. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.